Hello, everyone. Welcome to Beyond Life Paranormal Research Podcast. I'm your host, Russell Reynolds, and we got a good show tonight. If some of you know, we were at the Echo Spirit Con event in St. Joseph, Missouri. Susie Zern put it on, and myself, Julie Couch from Raven's Eye Paranormal, Leah from L&M Paranormal, Sam from the Epic VIP events from the Mysterious Mike and Sam. They were part of the haunted object panel, and we're here tonight to recap the Estes method we did with the haunted doll that Raven's Eye and us picked up at a location the Friday night before the Paracon. So, without further ado, let me bring on the mysterious Mike and Sam from Epic VIP events and Mike and Leah from L&M Paranormal.
Hey.
Hey guys.
Hello, hello.
Welcome to the
Hey.
show.
Thanks for having us.
Oh, you're
Absolutely.
welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's kind of recap on the Estes method with the haunted doll that we brought.
Where do you want to start?
From the first initial connection, which you guys had picked up on before you started Estes.
Do you want to back up maybe and tell them where you got the doll?
Yeah,
Do
we
you want-
can. We picked her up at a location in Blue Springs, a private residence. These dolls were terrorizing a blind lady. You can only see bright lights and shadows, and the doll was making her feel kind of uneasy, dread, and she was seeing shadow figures in her home and a man in her bedroom. So she had called us to come down to take these dolls and get rid of them for her because she was tired of them terrorizing them, and she's getting ready to move to England with her husband, and she did not want to take any of this bad energy with her. So we went down there, did our initial investigation, did a cleansing, found the dolls to the case, and we took them to the Echo Spirit Con event where we did our haunted object panel.
How did you guys narrow it down to the dolls?
We did a session with the doll in the blue dress that's in question, and she was able to set off meters. And then the little doll, Chris, Julie's husband from Raven's Eye, he had grabbed that doll with no eyes, and he was shaking her upside down like this to see if her eyes had fell back into her body. And while he was doing that, the meters just started going crazy that was sitting in her lap, like she was getting angry that we were messing with that little doll. And Julie could pick up on it, and the doll actually imitated Julie's look. Julie was kind of looking up like this, and the doll just started imitating her and then curled its lip like, "Hey, look what I can do. I can imitate you."
Yeah, I remember the picture you showed that to us. That was a pretty wild picture. But I was just curious to how in your investigation you guys tracked down that one to the dolls. So
Well, she was the one that was giving more of the definitive readings on the equipment and the other dolls. We had separated them and did each individual session with them, and that doll was more the strongest one out of them all than the rest of them. Julie did feel heart palpitations with the one with no eyes, the real little one that the client called Little Annabelle.
So since taking the dolls out of the house, have you talked to the resident? Everything calmed down?
Yep, everything's calmed down. She's ready to go out to see her husband in England.
Good. Those are all my questions. I'll leave now.
Good questions. I like them.
Yeah.
Hey, Mike and Sam, do you guys want to describe what the Estes method is real quick? Because I like the way you talk about it.
Well, I think Mike does it better than I do.
I don't know if I
I
do
just
it.
do it.
It's a true story. I try to tell people that for those who watch the shows on TV, a lot of stars want to call it the spirit box method because the little electronic gadget that supplies the white noise is called an SP7, and SP stands, of course, for spirit box. So they call it the spirit box method. Sam and I were lucky enough to meet the guys who developed this process at where the Stanley Hotel is located in Estes Park, Colorado. That's why they call it the Estes method. Very lucky to get to know them, go on 2 or 3 investigations, have them explain why they did it, and what it was all about. Very enjoyable because I love the kids who think outside the box. And that's basically where the Estes method came from. It's a matter of putting on a blindfold and putting on the right equipment, which is Vic First headphones.
Did you get yours yet, Leah?
Yeah, you're going to.
Yeah, I love them.
Leah will tell you, those headphones are awesome. I mean, they are the best I've ever held and worked with.
Yeah.
And before we get started, let me give kudos to Leah because there's a lot of people over the last 6 years that go, "Oh, Sam, I want to do Estes with you. I can do this." And I just go, "Oh God, here it comes." 90% of them, if I said they suck, that's a compliment. Okay, they're not very good. Leah was actually. I'm going. God, I hope she can. She was good, very good. I mean, you did a great job. You and Sam together. And I want to set the the stage before we start talking about the doll itself and what happened. But you and Sam together really did validate each other on a separate plane, not as though you were talking to each other, but almost were talking to each other, but actually validating each other's claims just like seconds apart.
If they weren't saying the same words, it was the same conversation or the same meaning.
Right.
That they were each saying. Yeah, it was pretty.
That was, we had a small audience, 15 or 20 people. And I'm a really hard judge when it comes to people who do Estes. And Leah, you were awesome.
Yes.
I just want to say you were good. We'll have to get together and do this one more time for sure. So that is the Estes method. It's actually just being.
Well, it's radio frequency. You didn't mention that. The spirit box is a radio frequency, and spirits come through on that frequency.
It's just a matter of being totally sensory deprived. No sight, no hearing. And you open your mind up to the spirits, and then whatever spirit contacts you, you repeat what's being said, and you have no idea, and you can't hear the questions being asked. So hopefully they coincide, and that night with the dolls, it did.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yes.
I'm done. That's my explanation. Now, I don't do it, so I want people to understand that. I've tried it a few times. Yeah, my skill level sucks. I'm one of those who suck at it.
I can't stand having the headphones on. It drives me nuts. Like,
thank you, Mike.
Maybe 5 minutes if I'm lucky and I don't hear anything. Sometimes I'll say a word, but it's probably just my imagination or something. So
exactly. And so I just look at her and say, "Take it, hun. It's all yours." And I'm sure you do the same. So
yeah. Well, I first of all, I've never been on any kind of panel before. And so I was honored to do it. I was excited to do it, and I was super nervous to do it. But excited because I got to meet all of you, got to know all of you, and I was very honored that I got to do it with you, Sam, because I hear about it all the time, and I'm like, I want to do this with her. And so the fact that you let me do that, I really appreciate it, because Estes is kind of the way I can channel really quickly. So I can do it without it. But when I throw the headphones on, it's just like, I don't know, like you turn on a TV and it's just like direct contact, direct communication. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
I do.
So let me ask you a question. Does people who've never tried to understand that white noise and how loud it can be. Does that noise fade away for you?
Yes. I'm totally in another world.
Yep.
I'm
And
just,
that to me is amazing
Well,
because
We're
I
in
can
the
leave it.
spirit realm, if
I
you
know.
will. I think we're just in that meditative space with spirit. We're just blended with them.
But it's a
Yes.
fantastic way to communicate because it's peer communication. You're
Yeah.
actually having someone talking to you,
yes.
and you can hear them where we can't. So
Mhm.
it's fascinating. For
In
me.
this case, it was energy, I
Yeah.
think, as much as
Is
the
anything.
little girl and what she went through. Do you have a picture of the little girl, Russell? Do you have a picture of her?
Not on my laptop.
Let me see. Let me see. I think I have one. I was just gonna, for the people that weren't there.
So can you guys still hear me?
Yes, they can hear
So
you.
Leah or Mike, what we need to do is while they were doing Estes, of course, the girls with the blindfolds on didn't know that, but make sure you guys mention how I don't know the darkness that happened all of a sudden.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, that was crazy how that room just
Oh, there it
black.
is, right there.
Hold on. I'm going to present just for a second, Russell. Is that okay?
Yep. Oh, yeah, that's fine.
And I'll just show, let me increase it here. Oh, hold on. I gotta hit present first. Well, it is on a good computer, but thank you for asking. It's like,
Well,
it needs to
anyway.
be on a good computer. It is on a good computer.
Mhm. Yeah, that doll's face did change. When I first approached her,
Here we are.
yeah, that's a good picture. When I first approached her, for me, it was friendly. Like she wanted to draw me in a little bit first before the real stuff started to come forward. And so when I picked her up and I held her initially, it was just like, okay, this is a doll. She does have some energy attached to her. But what? I don't know yet. So you kind of had to hang out with her, so to speak, for a little bit. And then after a few minutes, I looked back at her again and it was murder, murder. I like murder. That was like the first thing that kept going through my mind and coming to me. And then it started to get heavier, darker, and sad for me. And then the story started to unfold as to what was, what that doll had absorbed. It was really sad.
Yes. I think we both were emotional with her. When I was just playing with her hair before we even started, that was all I needed, was just stroking her hair like that. That was, which was a trigger more for her, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, the main question was, since Russell wanted you two to do this, what were you looking for? What were you trying to get out of the Estes
Trying
session?
to validate answers to see what was attached to that doll, if it was a human spirit, negative entity. Because, like, my cousin Ed believed, like, a child is not allowed to inhabit an object. So, trying to see if it was actually a child or maybe an adult or a darker entity trying to disguise itself as something.
Mm.
Just trying to get validation onto what it is and how bad this doll actually is.
Good.
Wow.
I felt it was a child's energy. That's what I felt anyway. And all of the negative stuff that she had encountered in her little life.
I felt like I felt the same, but I felt more like children. I felt like there was more than one that doll had been through absorbing that, because I picked up foster care and just many children. But I think when we put the headphones on and we channeled, there was one specific girl that communicated with us really strongly.
Yes.
And I
Like
know
she,
to backtrack a little bit, like during our case, when we got to that location with that doll and started doing a session, the client had mentioned something about murder, and that doll grinned like it was happy when it heard the word murder.
hmm yeah, murder, murder. I like murder.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. When a few times when I was channeling, I heard a male voice that came through a few times, and he was not, well, he was icky and nasty. And it was like he was trying to take over what she had to say, push
Mhm.
her out of the way. And then she showed me things that were done to her. And I just like, I remember I couldn't stop crying. Like I wasn't sobbing. It was silent, but like I just tears were streaming down my face. And I don't how would I describe that? It wasn't me. You're channeling.
Yep.
Yep.
It was just overwhelming sensation. And I do think I don't know anything about your life. I mean, that's the first time not really, that was the first time we met. So I don't know anything about your life or anything that's happened to you. But for me personally, that feeling of abuse resonated with me, and it did. I could get emotional now, but that whole feeling just was overwhelming. It was like I was right there in that room with her, and that was a hard pill to swallow, trying to do that separation.
I think I totally agree with you. And I think that's why we channeled together so well, because I definitely could relate to it as well. And that's sad. But I really think that made the channeling really strong for us and for her to tell us her story and what that doll had absorbed. And
Well, let me ask you a question. Do you think, because of the way it went, and for the people not there, it was impressive, but at the same time, was one person talking to you and a different person talking to Sam, or was the
I
same
don't
person
think
trying
so.
to talk to both of you?
I think it was the same
Was it
entity,
the same-
energy.
The
yes.
same energy?
yeah,
So-
it felt like a circuit. Like it was just a circuit. It come through and
Well,
yeah.
we were getting touched too, or I mean,
Mhm.
during the whole thing.
Both of
so.
you were doing
Yeah.
a little twitch now and then and go, ooh, something's near me, something's behind me, something touched me.
Yeah.
Is that a common thing for you, Sam, when you're doing Estes? You typically get your hair played with or touched on your arm or something?
A lot, yeah, because Michael said you don't have permission to touch her.
Yeah.
It doesn't always work, but I try.
I used to do that with Leah. You kind of get onto the spirits when they start misbehaving. But I don't want to say I've taken a step back, but I've put in a lot more faith, trust, and
I will
in
tell
you.
him, hey,
Yeah,
you tell them.
she will.
I agree with
She'll pull
what you're
her.
saying.
I'll put my hand
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, she'll pull herself out when she's been in too long. If she doesn't like what she's hearing, seeing, feeling, then she'll stop. And because there's times that I get a bad feeling and she's like, no, I'm fine, or vice versa. So it's like, okay, well, I'm going to trust Leah's feelings and intuition, and I'm just going to watch. I'll ask the questions.
Yeah, because I'm the same way, because I try to limit to 15 minutes because it is tiring for the girls when they do it.
Yeah.
But if it's going really, really well, you hate to stop. When you know you have that direct communication, you don't want it to quit. At the same time, I know where you're coming from when you say, this doesn't feel right. Do I take her out? You have to have faith in your partner because they know. And there have been times, and I'm sure Lee's done it, where Sam just grabbed those phones and ripped them off. So, I can't say that. I can't do that. Whatever. I mean, that's just natural.
Yes.
And it's tough from the outside looking in, and you're hearing, when it does start to get ugly, you're like, well, what are you going to do about it? There's nothing you could do about it.
Yeah.
But that's not going to stop you from trying. So
Well, I would like to go back to that darkness because they'd been going on for probably 15 or 20 minutes at that time, I think.
Yeah.
And I decided it was time to kind of ease them out. And I was going to go up there and do the countdown, which I don't know if you guys count down or not. I like to do the countdown because it puts pressure on the spirits. If they're really gabby and they really want to talk and they know they're going to be cut off, they'll tell you things quit.
I will admit I've stole that from you now, Mike. We did that at old Abilene Town the other day, and I was like, hey, I'm going to try this, and I'll be
If
darned.
you-
It worked.
Wait,
How
did
never
it
done
work? Yeah. Did it work?
Yeah.
I will. A lot of
yeah,
times, spirits count down for you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was good.
Yeah.
They will come to you and say, "Mike, no, stop." That's what Lisa would tell you. I mean, she didn't even know you're doing it, but it does work. Well, anyway, when I'm getting ready to do the countdown, I had my back to the people sitting in the stage, and I'm not. You were off to my right, and all of a sudden, it's like somebody flipped a light switch.
Yep.
It got that dark, and people who weren't there are going to have a hard time understanding this because there wasn't clouds passing over. It wasn't that kind of darkness. It's just like somebody flipped a light switch for a minute. And that was really strange.
Isn't that
Well-
when the energy shifted in the room?
Well,
Yeah.
that was the message. Is that when everything went a different level?
I know I was recording. Now, whether that made it into the video or not, I'll
It
admit I haven't watched that far.
It did. It made it in the video. I've watched it.
So could you see the room get darker?
Actually, with the camera, you couldn't. You couldn't even.
Okay.
You could hear us all react to it and comment to it, and then comment about the energy shifting, but you couldn't see the room go dark.
You
Well-
see, and this is where I'm a skeptic at heart, right?
Thank
So
you.
every piece of evidence, I'm like, well, hold on a second. So I didn't get enough time to really process because I did see the room was darker, but I'm going through this checklist in my mind. Okay, well, why did the room get darker? Did a cloud pass over? Did something, what happened here? So I didn't get a chance to fully process everything, but I did look around and I did see that the room was darker.
Here's our other half of the panel.
Hey.
Hi.
Hey, we're having time zone issues. We did not realize how late it was.
So, yeah, as far as the room getting darker, I saw it getting darker. I was processing it, and then we quickly moved on. So, I don't know that for myself, I'm ready to say that was from the energy in the room. I'm not saying it's not. I'm just, for me, being a skeptic,
Right.
I have to process everything, and I didn't get a chance to do all that yet. Now, you guys are a lot more in tune with the energy than I am. So you obviously processed it differently. So that's just my take on the darkness in that room.
Well, I had no idea. And you're like me. People will say, "Oh, Mike, you've done this so long. You're accustomed to this, and you're a firm believer." I am not. I tell people, man, I'm all the way up to 54% believe it. I mean, 54%. And I'm like you. I debunk everything until it slaps me in the face. It ain't real.
Yeah.
And
Sam,
until I
does that
see it-
frustrate you?
Pardon?
Just a little
Sam,
bit.
just a little bit? Okay, good. I'm not alone.
Dowsing rods or Estes, and people think we're faking it or it's scripted and all of that stuff. Is like, my dowsing rods could lift me up to the moon the way they spin around. And it's like, oh, you're faking it. And he's like, you're faking it. You're moving your wrist.
I've watched her so close.
And
I mean, I'm like, let me see those hands. Don't you move those hands.
It's like,
Glad
oh,
I'm not alone.
no.
You are not close.
It's like looking in a mirror.
Like,
Hey,
The
that sounds good. The skeptic, Mike and Mike.
Yeah, we'll make our own
So-
show.
Yeah, there you go.
We might sell that one.
Julie and
Yeah.
Chris, were
Yes.
you guys there for the darkness? Like we were
Yeah.
talking that they were talking
Yeah,
about the
Chris
room
was-
getting dark.
Chris was upstairs doing the vending, and I was downstairs. And I think, I mean, obviously the clouds could have shifted. There's so many things that we're not aware of that went on outside in that room. But I think it was kind of interesting the way it shifted at the time it shifted, and then it went back to light at the time it went back to light. I mean,
Yeah.
in my business, there are no coincidences. Everything is laid out into synchronicities and timing. And that to me would be really hard to explain.
Mhm.
I got nothing to argue
It
against
is.
on that one. It was a very ideal timing too. Yeah.
The timing was perfect. And I mean,
Yeah.
the lay of the building and the fact there's just, to me, it was too coincidental. I mean, I'm one of those that I look for things like that. could it be a coincidence?
Let me ask Mike, because I want you to keep in touch.
It was odd. I'm just going to say it was odd. Whether it was a paranormal phenomenon.
She's glitching.
I lost the sound on that.
Go ahead. You're back.
Oh,
you were glitching.
You were glitching a little bit.
I'm sure we have got really horrible internet here, so I'm going to probably glitch a lot.
Okay, so re-say what you said. Just said, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. I think that, whether it was paranormal or if it was, it was some phenomena, whether it was paranormal or not, the timing was too perfect for it not to be something related. Now, that could have been crowd energy. That could have been crowd.
Mm-hmm.
That could have been, the number of people in there feeling what they were feeling.
Glitch.
Oh no. Come back
during the episode. It could have been,
I was going to say, during when all of that happened, my friend Terry, who
Can
was.
you guys see? I'm not tracking at all.
No.
What? There you go. And she's on the move. And they're going outside.
And while they're doing that, Mike, keep me informed of your countdown and tell me what happens during your countdown, because you will have a lot of fun with that, because it'll get weird.
Yeah. I'll start doing that now.
Yeah.
Okay, can you hear us now?
Yes.
Yep.
Better.
Okay, we're outside.
I was going to say, when
I'm
you.
pantsless.
When you guys.
You too?
Do what? I'm just. Go ahead, Russell.
No, what I was saying before was I think it whether you could call it paranormal or it could have been all of the people outside, like sitting around the viewers, and then the Estes method. It could have been energy from them. It could have been inside the room. I don't know. I think it was too. It was just too weird, and the timing was too weird to call it just a coincidence.
So my question is when it gets dark, I have to go back and watch it, but again, when it gets dark, what is going on during our Estes session? Like, what's the vibe? What are we saying? Sam and I.
About when Mike was getting ready to count you guys down at Estes, is when it did that. He just walked up to the counter and said that he was going to count you guys down, and then that's when it dark. I know Sam called my name a couple times, asking me to take the call back.
She did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
There was a man there, and well, I don't want to say a man. I never saw him, but it was a darker male kind of energy, like overpowering. And every once in a while, he would sneak in, and he would talk, and then back off, and I think he was trying to block the little girl energy. Because that little girl energy that was, and the story that was being told was pure. That was happening. But this, whatever was trying to interfere, I was really trying to push back. And that when you said it got darker, that made me think of that, because he would like creep over, like I could feel it.
Would you tell what that darker energy of that guy was like a relation to the little girl, or what he had to do with her exactly?
I felt like he was also attached to the doll. Yes. Part of it. Yes.
I'm trying to hold on, sorry.
Do you think possibly that could have been the little girl's father that did bad things to her?
Yeah, because she would say dad. I think she said dad
Yeah,
a few
Daddy.
times. Yep. And that
Both-
was about the time that I was laying on the floor and being held down.
Well, and I think the doll, I don't think it has a, how do I want to word this? I'm not going to say it has an entity attached to it, as in a person or a spirit per se. I think it has an energy creation. Like, I think it's got energy. My belief system is that we create masses of energy by things that we do, or by horrible interactions, or by, you know, really traumatic experiences. Negative energy is like created, and it becomes a life of its own. And I think that trauma energy is stored in that particular vessel. So I'm not going to say and I think it's smart, it's intelligent, it's class A, but I don't think it's a specific being. I think it's a form of, you know, the trauma energy for the child. I think it was the abuser or abusees, you know, multiple people. I think it's a whole bunch of different energy that has entered into that.
Which is like maybe where I picked up foster care.
Yes.
I said earlier that I felt like it was more than one. That doll has absorbed more than one trauma.
Well, and the source of that doll, the most current source of that doll, that owner had been in multiple foster cares,
There you go.
and
Yeah.
herself had been in a traumatic situation.
Okay.
And so, again,
Dad and uncle too, not just the dad, but the uncles too.
yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Wow,
So
that's interesting.
Bella says yes, trauma energy trapped in the doll. Yes, I believe that, and I believe it's taken on an intelligent form. It's not just, I got to put those on. I can't see it. I was like, whoa, where'd the screen go?
Like a PK manifestation kind of thing.
Yeah, almost, but taken on a life of its own.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like, it's
that would make
become an
sense.
entity. But when I say an entity, I don't think you could call that entity one person. I think it's multiple sources that have fed into it. So we're able to pick up bits and pieces of all of that.
All the trauma together
Yes.
to make itself. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we've come across stuff like that before. Just all the in residential cases where you have to piece together all the happenings in the house that created the energy that's there now, you know, like, or that the form that it took on.
Right.
So that would make sense for me anyway.
Yeah. No.
And our client picked that doll up at a thrift store, so it's even still got the thrift store tag still attached to his arm.
Was it in Blue Springs she picked it up, or on a vacation, or where? It's all in Blue Springs. I kind of like to know.
Do you remember, Julie, where she said she picked that up at?
I don't. Do you?
I don't think she told us
It
where
was
she got it. She said a thrift store.
it was a junk store somewhere around there.
And she said she felt sorry for it because it was all alone.
Oh.
Could be.
And it played on that sympathy.
So it drew her in, like
Yep.
it drew me in. Yeah. Okay. Wow,
Several
that makes
people
so
that
much sense.
day, actually. Several people that doll drew in that day.
Yeah.
Because everybody kept going to, wasn't there one in a red dress? But it's like, it was the one with the blue for me.
The blue is, yeah.
red.
When we saw the pictures, it was definitely the blue one that I said had an issue.
Yeah, the one in the red dress, not so much. Or the little blonde-headed one, not so much either. It was more that one in the blue dress and the one she called Little Annabelle. Because that day, Gypsy Witch Paranormal came over to the table, and the one member from there actually had to back away because her heart started going crazy. And they had an obulus running, and that doll in the blue dress was talking to them and said he lied, beat him with a shovel, and bury him.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, and it was interesting too that, you know, and this is where whoa, sorry, I got it for now. For now, we're on a cell phone out in the pool area of our hotel. Sorry, so there's a lot of stuff going on. Hang on, airplane, helicopter. You know, I said it wasn't demonic, and I maintain that it's not demonic per se, but the knowledge base that it had to me was absolutely tremendous, because nobody around except for Chris knows my legitimate birth name, because I've legally changed my name. And that doll called my real name. Twice it called my real name. You guys said that.
What?
You all said that.
You know
You all
that.
said Julianne. That's my birth name. I have legally changed that
wow.
name. 15, 16 years ago, my name was changed.
That gave me goosebumps.
Oh, wow. Boy, that makes you wonder, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, I'm glad we have this podcast, because otherwise we wouldn't know that. So thanks for sharing, Miss Julie.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. So, I mean, that was just when it said Julianne, I looked over to Russell and I said, even Russell and them didn't know that.
Yeah.
Like that, they don't know my name. That's not my name anymore. It hasn't been my name for that long.
I feel like that was probably the darker part of it, because he was kind of a loudmouth jerk.
Mm-hmm. Well, and he may have been possessed. I mean, you know, to do something like that to a child or children, he may have been possessed.
Yep.
Like, I'm not going to go that far. I don't know who it was. I wasn't in the home.
Right.
So there could be something off with that situation, and that energy alone shifted, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Or could it have been the little girl calling out to you?
That could have been too. I mean, I'm open to either one of them.
I'd have to go back and listen to the recording. I've listened a few times now, but I didn't. I have to see.
I didn't catch that one.
Have to
yet.
go back. Well, we weren't looking for it either. So.
True story.
Right.
So
Funny is it
what
said
was
my name, and then it would tell Russell to take it back.
Oh my gosh.
And I was holding it at one point in time, and I had it clear up against me, and I was trying to kind of nurture it, and it didn't say, to my knowledge, it didn't say anything about me putting it down. It didn't say for me to take it back. And I was like, well, I wanted to see what it would do if I shifted it, and I put it in Russell's arms and said, here. And it said, what? Put me back, put me down, don't hold me.
Yeah, but there was that discussion for a while on the put me back.
Right,
Was
to
it
take me
put her
back.
the original where she came from, put her back on the table where we were talking to her, just exactly where it was put her back meant.
Right.
Yeah, and she would say, for all the world to see. I kept hearing that, for all the world to see.
Yeah.
But when he held her, she did say, or one of you two said, and I can't remember which one, don't hold me.
Yeah, I did. It's like, put me down. Don't hold me.
Yeah.
Take me back. She just kept, take me back, take me back, take me
Pretty
back.
emphatic on that point.
Mm-hmm.
That's even when you guys you were connecting with Susie's haunted object. That doll kept popping
She
through on
did.
the box, calling me to take it back. And
With
I
that
used
mirror.
the doll off the counter.
Yeah.
Wasn't there a statement somewhere along the line about the one in the white dress?
Red dress.
No, it's
white.
the white dress.
The
It
white
was
dress.
when we were doing
Oh.
the mirror where the doll on the end, the
Yeah.
sister,
The
the sister.
Yeah, on my far right. Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't picked up that. It said it had a white dress and black hair, and there was two dolls that looked, I don't know, very similar. One of them had black hair. So
I know my dad said the one in the blue dress. You guys had said red dress, which we have that other doll with the red dress on.
Ooh. Yeah, wasn't there a song about that? With the red dress on? Sure there was.
Oh Lord.
The rock and roll song, guys. You guys are
Yeah.
too young. Lady with the red dress on.
Okay.
Yeah.
I digress.
It just took a different turn.
And that's what's fun about a podcast.
Well, we have red on for Chiefs. Woo-hoo.
Yay.
There you go.
Oh, Chiefs.
Good weekend.
Yep. East weekend.
So you got any upcoming adventures coming along?
Us,
We-
we're going to Gettysburg.
When is that going to happen again?
We are
Wait.
leaving Wednesday.
You'd be jealous if I stopped to think about it.
Sorry.
Julie's about to get attacked by the Red Baron over there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think there's a hospital really close by here, and that's like helicopters.
Yeah.
We're in Scottsdale, Arizona right now.
That's where Mike's sister
Yeah, that's where my
lives.
sister lives.
Ah,
We don't go see her. She's a psychologist, so
oh, nice.
but she is into the paranormal. Don't let me kid you. She loves the paranormal.
Shout out to Debbie.
Yeah.
So
Gosh,
yeah,
no.
we leave tomorrow, and we have a 2-day drive home, and then we turn around and leave with Beyond Life, the Russells, and we're heading to Gettysburg.
Oh, and that just sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
that's a
Bucket
that's a
list.
bucket list trip right there.
You
Yeah,
got
yeah.
that right. They don't let you on the battlefield, though, right? You can only see it from the edges.
That's what they said. You're only allowed to go to the edges.
Well, that's when
Oh,
you
we're not.
that's when you put the headphones on and you just kind of wander until they get rid of you.
Yeah.
Sam and I have done that many times where you're not supposed to go somewhere. She puts the headphones on. We just
No, we don't.
get that glazed over look until they tell me no.
What I need to do is get a Civil War uniform and just go walking onto the battlefield like one of the ghosts with a
I
quick
didn't know
on.
we couldn't go on the battlefield.
You
I
might
didn't
be
know we
thinking
couldn't go on the
like-
battlefield. I didn't read it.
It's funny.
We actually got some sand from Gettysburg. One of our friends brought us just a little sand in a card. And when Leah got it, this is while she was still figuring out her spidey senses, as I'll call them.
Yeah.
She got a lot of feelings. We got the K2 and some other equipment to go off of this little card right here. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's the
That's
closest
cool.
we've been to Gettysburg right here.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's a little dirt. Just a little certified thing of dirt.
Oh, we could talk about the haunted mirror Estes method you guys did. That one
That-
pretty.
That one was interesting because Sam picked it up and your wrist hurt, right?
I had a line that went right through there, and I was telling Mike, I wonder if her pocketbook, because it was stolen, and she told me it was stolen, but I wonder if somebody ripped it off her arm and if it made like a little
mark.
place on her wrist or something, the way she was holding it. I don't know, but yeah.
I remember that. I didn't know how to connect it, but didn't she say it was a gift and it was stolen?
Yeah.
Yeah, I kept seeing this woman get off of a train, and then
Yes.
she'd see a man, and they would embrace each other, and it was like the story with the mirror, behind the mirror, or I'm not sure, but that's what kept playing over and over again. She just kept showing me that.
I love that you get the little movies in your mind like I do, because then it's like you try to explain that to people and they don't get it. And it's just
Yeah.
like you just have to experience it to know.
Yeah.
How do you explain it? Because a lot of people, as they hear the white noise, they listen for the radio voices. You guys go actually a step further or deeper. I'm not quite because you're not doing it radio voices. You're waiting for the actual voices to come through.
Yeah.
Well, that's the channeling
And
with
that's
the
the channel.
mediumship.
That's the channeling
so-
and the mediumship.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's
Right.
that's the part. That's the part 90% of the people can't do really.
Well,
Well,
I noticed that the mirror did not have a lot of words with it as far as the doll. The doll, audibly I could see, but audibly I could hear a lot. But with the mirror, it was a lot of movies, a lot of emotions attached to the movies, the head movies, and the things that they were showing me. And so when I see that with the emotion that I felt holding the mirror, I hook it together that this is the lady that is with the mirror, and this is a little snippet of her story that goes with the mirror, a love story.
Yeah. I felt like it was passed down at some point. I don't feel like the original owner, and then like it just went down a generation or two somehow.
Yeah. Well,
Maybe not.
what's hard is that as you see these videos or the pictures and the stories, it's up to you to interpret what they're trying to show you, and that's the hard part. I
Sometimes.
know it's not easy to try to. What are they telling me, and why are they showing me this particular object, and why does it keep repeating? Because Sam will say sometimes, there's no words with it. It's just like you said, a movie or a picture or an image, and it's kind of up to you to determine what they're trying to tell you.
Like if somebody's lost a child, if they miscarried or aborted or something like that, I get white pumpkins, and it was forever before I understood what the white pumpkins was. But that came up at my Reiki master class.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Sometimes, so it's just getting those, kind of like Tyler Henry, where he gets those images of things.
Your own
and
little icon.
Yeah, and just start building a library of those little things and what they mean when they come through from the spirit world.
Yep, exactly.
Like I would know, right?
Yeah.
I know that lady was kind of flirty because when I went to count you guys out of Estes, he started flirting with me. Sam
She
comes out,
did.
"Hey, Russell. Hi, handsome."
I like country boys.
I like country boys.
Well, Russell, the guy that she embraced was he looked a lot like you,
Oh, yeah?
and your height and everything, and so I'm not surprised. Maybe you reminded her of him.
That was pretty cool, though.
It was.
You were the trigger object for the mirror.
It's like, I'll take it. When are we doing it again?
Yeah.
Give me the compliments.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? Yeah, it was definitely a fun day doing that panel, though.
It was.
Yeah, I would do that again anytime. I'm honored I got to do that with everybody. You guys also know so much, have done so much. We learned a lot.
That's one of those things you could sit there and do that for hours and just.
Yeah. And so it was humbling and exciting and just really neat.
Yeah, well, I say the same. We learn from everybody. We steal bits and pieces from all of y'all.
Well, like Mike says, if we're not running events, sometimes we go to other people's events, and I'll steal from them if it's something I like. Why not?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
That's what it's all about. Because how else are you going to learn?
I've said this for a while now. Nobody's an expert in this field. You're always learning from other people, and even if you've been doing it for 20 years, you're still going to learn something new. Somebody younger has got a fresh idea, and you're always learning. And if you're not learning, then it's time to stop.
That's right. Well, it's a new field. I mean, it is a new field, whether people consider it new or not. This is still new compared to so many other different things that are out there. So we all have to learn from each other and grow from each other and take the wisdom from each other so we don't repeat the same crappy things and end up in a world of hurt.
True.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, it's always good to think outside the box in this field, too, with stuff. I mean, you get like a ghost from the 1800s. They're not going to know what your EMF meters are, your spirit boxes are. So it's good to think outside the box with some of those.
And that's one thing that we've run into a lot with residential cases or locations that have never been investigated. Those spirits don't know how to manipulate that equipment. So you're using equipment that they're not familiar with, and they're like one of my REM pods is a lantern. Well, of course, why would a spirit want to touch a lantern? They were hot. And I didn't think about it for the longest time. I'm like, well, I guess that doesn't make any sense now, does it? But
Well, we like to use candles. Some of those older 1800 locations, provided they allow you to have candles. But if you put them in a big enough container to where the air can't get to them, we do that. We stole that from John Tenney because you can use 2 different color candles, and then the flicker, have them blow on it and flicker the flame. You'd be surprised it works.
It does.
Oh, that's
When
cool.
you talk about the
That's neat.
equipment from the 1800s, Lee, have you ever been under Estes and the spirit say, "What is this? What are you doing?"
Mhm,
And
yeah.
so that's got to be an indication right there, right?
Yes.
What is this? And so
Yeah.
I've always, I'm sure Mike does it too. I go, "Hey guys, you're talking to someone. She can hear you. We can't. So if you want us to hear and understand what you want, tell her and she'll tell us." And sometimes they get gabby.
we were
Mhm.
doing a residential case a while back, and the spirit that was there was an old farmer from the early 1900s, if not late 1800s, and he was calling Leah a witch. He said it was witchcraft, and
Yeah.
she was going to hell and she's the
Yeah,
devil. And I was like, no, she's not. You know, I was just trying to explain it to something that wasn't there for me to see, and it was really awkward, but it was kind of entertaining how that spirit was relating to what she was doing.
Yeah.
exactly.
We'd be hung at the stake.
That's exactly right.
Right,
I'm like,
burn.
go.
They're oftentimes calling witch, you witch.
Mhm.
Maybe I misunderstood and they meant the B word, but they were calling me.
No, you do get a lot of "what is this" or "what are you doing" or "what do you call?" I mean, seriously, if you do Estes long enough, and Mike will tell you this while you're under, you will say some rare things that I know don't mean anything to you, but all of a sudden I'm starting to realize they don't know what we're doing. They
Mhm.
really don't.
True.
Especially like Mike said, with the older, you go into the old, like the McIntyre villas at the 1800s and stuff like that. They how are they going to manipulate something they have no idea what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll get that in EVPs as well too with the digital recorder. They don't know what it is. See
Yeah.
these microphones sitting there, and they're like, "What is
I-
that?"
I try to talk to them and tell them I can't hear you, but this little gadget might be able to if you'll talk into it. So can we try something? I just talk to them like, they're my best friend, and I'm just trying to explain the problem. And it doesn't always work, but like Mike said, if you're not trying, you're failing. The only way to fail is not to try. And if it doesn't work the first time, try something else. And if it doesn't work again, try something else. And if that doesn't work, go back to the original. You don't know what's going to work.
There's no exact science to this. It's all try it all out. And if you don't know what you're doing, I think the biggest problem a lot of people have is they're scared to reach out to somebody and say, I don't know what's going on here.
Yep.
And that should be, your number one tool in the toolbox.
You what your number two is? It's when you get an investigator who gets in front of you and says, I know this for a fact. Spirits do this. I know this is a fact. And I tell people, you ever get an investigator who tells you that, get your money back and run. They haven't got it. We're all guessing, right? I mean, it's all guesswork. Like Julie said, we don't know what the hell's going on. We're guessing. I like to think our guesses are better than most because we have more experience. That doesn't mean I'm right. It's still guessing.
True.
Yes. Yes.
See, I like to say
Leah does Estes. We're not guessing anymore.
I was gonna say I like to say we're cheating. When I go into an
Sam and I are
investigation, we
cheaters.
cheat because
Exactly.
That's like I was on a podcast for a team in Texas, and he told me a little thing they do for like children's spirits that are older. They'll set up chairs and do like duck, duck, goose
Mhm.
with motion lights sitting on.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I love
And-
that stuff.
Kids back then they knew that old game duck, duck, goose. So
Hmm. Yeah, Duck Duck Goose would be a good one. We've done tag and what else?
Hide and go seek.
Hide and go seek a lot.
I think one thing a lot of people forget about to do is to get away from asking questions and start interacting.
Yes.
Ignore the spirits. Don't talk to the spirits. Just have a conversation amongst yourselves and just see what the room starts doing, or play a game, or get up and interact, and that will change the environment drastically.
just
Play with toys
Mhm.
or my team members, you catch EVPs just having a regular conversation with your own teammates.
Mhm.
or music. I mean, depending and what generation you're interacting with, playing music and just going on about your business.
Yeah. Missouri State, they like
The
music
first time that
there.
happened to us, we were at Missouri State in A Hall, and we asked the spirit if they wanted us to play some Johnny Cash, and to turn the light on. So I turned on what was it? I think Ring of Fire or something, and it was fluctuating to the beat of Ring of Fire, which obviously I couldn't put that on
that would be
YouTube because of
awesome.
the copyright, but it was really neat to see.
Yeah.
You know, the pen shut down the death row building.
Yes.
Yep.
Hopefully it'll be back up soon, but
And I hope so.
Yeah, I saw they tore that one building down. They're in the process.
which
The-
one?
The
The one
farm,
right
they're
behind,
supposed
right behind Cell House 3, they're tearing that building down right now.
It's gone.
right.
It's
Oh.
gone.
You weren't able to go inside that one anyway, if I remember
No.
correctly.
They were never allowed to go in that one.
Yeah.
I'm just
They're
talking about
tearing
when you go out the back door, that building on your right where death row is.
Yep.
Yeah, building 3. Yeah.
Got big sinkholes, they said, appearing in the ground. They got it roped off and nobody could go there. And we were there and they didn't tell us that before I rented it.
They did no. She let us know 2 days
Yeah, 2
before
days
the
prior.
event. So
Wow.
Which
I wonder
stinks
if
though,
that's
because
from
they're taking away a large portion of the investigation, the most
lot.
exciting portion, I think,
Yes.
but they're still charging you the same price.
Yeah.
Come on
No,
now.
actually, it's more now. It
It's
just
more.
went up because we have it booked twice, and well, we're going with friends in April, and then we booked it for May. But yeah,
It's more.
It's more, a lot more.
Yeah.
Well, and their goal is to tear it down. I mean, there's a whole group in Jefferson City that want that building down.
Well, they're making the
It's a
money
Historic
maker.
Society's making a buttload of money, but we did find out that they had, and you guys may have already known, but what was the disease they said is buried underneath back
Oh,
there?
yeah.
Cholera.
Cholera,
Cholera
yeah,
is buried
cholera.
back there in that. So it's like they're wondering because there was a creeper when we were there last time, kind of like that. I don't know if you saw our Facebook page, but there was definitely something when I was doing Estes, it was saying it was watching us, and a couple of people got thermal images, and then Spooky Oki got something. She was there the night before we were, and she got something very similar to what we were getting. Erica Burton, who's on our team, she and Spooky were talking about that, and Erica got really similar stuff on some of her phone apps, which was crazy because I don't know how that ties together, but I wondered when they unearthed those cells that were underground and then the sinkholes that are appearing and then finding out about the cholera, if all of that and all the fear that's been instilled in that location, kind of like your point earlier, Julie, all that energy, like a PK manifestation and forming like an elemental, if you will, just from all of that energy, it's creepy to think about, but there was definitely something up there, and several of us saw it. So
Yeah. I gave
That was in building A, wasn't it? On the catwalks.
yes,
Uh-huh.
yes, yeah, that's my favorite building.
Absolutely.
So we've had a lot of interaction in there. Cell 10, cell 11.
I need a hint. Leavenworth, Kansas. The big prison, not the army prison, but the big prison is going to be open for investigation.
I'm sure they saw that on
Did you
Facebook.
see that?
That'll be fun.
I saw the link on there. I'm waiting to see when they'll. It looks like now they're just allowing people to do walkthroughs.
Walkthrough. Yeah, they're supposed to be building a brand new prison in back of that.
Oh.
I'm wondering when they're going to start allowing private investigations.
It'll probably be a couple of years.
Oh, I hope not.
Well, in the article, they said they want to be like Missouri State Penn. So,
yeah, we talked to a prison guard. He came to one of our events, and he's the one that told us about this
That it was
happening a year
coming.
ago.
Yeah,
He
it's
said
more
we
it's,
than
should do it.
and it's coming. So I'd love to have an investigation
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's plan on it.
untapped energy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
once
My
they open it
favorite.
up, that'll be the top of our list, definitely.
Oh man.
Oh, maybe we could all get in there.
Yeah, that'd be great to do a group.
Yeah.
Hey, helps to know people. Yeah.
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 There you go.
Wait, what was that guy's
you
name?
know him. I know who he is, so I'll
We-
tell you.
We'll
I'll
have to
keep
get
him
it.
disclosed for now till we get the deal sealed.
There you
And now
I say we got a team that we need to bring, and
we
what
need
can
to
you
do a private before we do a public.
validate it so that way
Yeah.
you know what you're selling to people.
Yeah.
That way we can we can tell him what happened, and he can put it on and then sell out.
Oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
A place like that would be just as exciting as Missouri State.
Oh, every
any
bit.
day of the
Oh,
week,
for
every
sure.
bit of it.
They also had some very violent criminals there.
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
It's maybe not a little bit more because it's so fresh and it's just yeah.
That makes a difference. Yeah.
Yeah, be a lot more intense, I think.
Mhm.
And you're not picking up all the spectators' energy and the other teams that have come through.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, that's a big thing is when you got a location that gets investigated every single night by people from all over the country. I mean, now you're dealing with whatever's at the house, but also what people bring in, what they leave, what they conjure up. So who knows what's stuck at the house and or location, and what was original and what's new.
Right.
It's a
Well,
little
we just
concerning.
Yeah.
hit our hour mark. Greg Koss is up next, so
Okay.
we're gonna get ready
Thank
to wrap up.
y'all.
Yeah. Thanks
Bye,
for
thank
having us.
you.
Oh,
Yes.
you're welcome. If you guys want to hang backstage for a minute, we're gonna wrap up.
Okay.
And I'd like to thank everybody for joining me tonight. And L&M Paranormal, Julie and Chris, the mysterious Mike and Sam. We will not be doing a podcast next week because we will be in Gettysburg at the Warrens VIP party.
Yahoo!
Don't have too much fun.
Facebook
Oh,
Live. Facebook
Oh,
Live.
yeah, we'll be live there. We'll be doing
Good.
For sure.
We got a bunch of people that want to watch and see what's up out there. So we'll be
Okay.
live.
Well,
So,
I might be one of them.
all right.
Uh,
Just hang on for a minute. I'm going to close this out.
Okay.
And
Bye, guys. Thanks for watching.
Bye, guys.
Bye.